So one of the questions I often get, like in forums, also in state change, is about regular expressions, which is based on a very old language that is still used today. Often has some optimized parsing for performance purposes, but mostly is just super terse and flexible. And that language is called regular expressions. It's POSIX regular expressions. You can use them with grep. You can use them in all sorts of circumstances. They're very commonly used in both Python and PHP and JavaScript and what have you. But and I'm seeing them more, I think, because increasingly, if people are doing sort of text manipulation problems and they go over to say ChatGPT, and I were to ask it to find all instances of name that follows the word hello, right? It will create for me a little bit of code that actually uses a regular expression, and this is a module called RE from Python, and it's actually building it with a regular expression. So the fact that it provides us with a regular expression doesn't mean we have to go insert Python or go outside of Xano or whatever to go find ourselves a Python solution. We can just do it. We can use regular expressions directly inside Xano, which can be more effective. Now, let's talk about how a regular expression works for a second. You're going to find that most regular expressions are bounded by these slashes, right? This is open and a close of a regular expression. And by the way, this site, regexer.com, is one of a few sites you can just Google up, learn regular expressions, that are all pretty fantastic for learning how to work with this technology. And the cool thing is you can pass in a little regular expression up here and it will show you how well it works, right? So in this case, it's showing us everything. And the meaning of this is it will look for everything that starts with a capital letter, right? And then all of the word characters, alphanumeric, what have you, that follow it. And that way it can create, it basically is identifying what all of my capitalized words were. Now, if I go back over to my Python over here, I can grab, this little bit of business and go over to here and say, I just want to paste in that expression. And then I'll take the text that they gave us, right? And I can put this into here. You can see how it's not actually about Python. It will find hello, John, and also find hello, Sarah, which is super helpful, right? So the next thing we want to do, and there are more complicated things you can do with regular expressions. I would actually recommend that you use a combination of ChatGPT and a playground like this to kind of dial in to make sure that whatever you're putting in and a little bit of sample text, that it produces the results that you're really looking for here. But let's leave the question of how to dial in a particular regular expression problem to another time, because that's a very deep subject. But let's talk about how we can bring it over to Xano, because Xano actually has a pretty good portfolio of what they call filters that use regular expressions. Now, to do that, we open up the go to the left-hand side here, go to Library, we click Functions, and we click Add Function. And here we're going to say regex test. Regex is just a common abbreviation of the term regular expression, and why it's called regular is actually a little bit beyond me. I don't know. So let's go to the function stack, and we're just going to create a function we'll do it all inline because that'll make it easier to demonstrate how this stuff works. And we're going to create a variable. We'll leave it as var1, don't care. And the important thing to understand about how regular expressions work, we'll just add a filter here just to show. And if I just type reg, you find the regular expression ones. And they are, allow you to get, everything that matches, right? Like here, you can see there are multiple matches for a given criteria that it's set up. In fact, I was asking about getting me all the names. They got me all the names. It can only just get the first batch. So basically the same thing, but just limited to one. A Boolean that says either this matches your criteria or it does not, which can actually be super helpful if all you're looking for is whether it exists or not. This is kind of like, query all for a string versus get record or single record for a string versus has record, the Boolean of whether or not this is there or not. This is a utility function. It will probably not come up as often. And then regex replace actually gets used quite a bit to use regular expressions to find things and then replace them. It's a more advanced version of the replace filter. I will say about all of this that if you can relatively intuitively figure out how to do whatever your manipulation need is without using regular expressions, I recommend it. because regular expressions are really hard to read and harder to understand. You're going to find yourself kind of dialing them in, hacking them together using some ChatGPT, some Regex. Maybe somebody else is advising you on it, but you're going to look at them and they're going to be just kind of Greek. So, this is really for those advanced use cases that are harder to do just with ordinary, text manipulation techniques that might be easier for you. So, with all that said, let's talk about how to use regular expressions inside Xano. Now, the first thing you need to understand is that regular expressions use, take the, we'll get back to the subject here in a second, take the regular expression itself as the value, and then they have this string you're trying to search on is called the subject. So it's not going to be that you're passing it like, hey, here's the string I'm searching, and then here's regex I want to apply to it. It's the other way around. Here's a regex I'm using, and then the string that I want to apply to it. If you take a look over here, you'll see the expression is done first, followed by whatever the test is that you're trying, whatever the string is you're trying to run on. Similarly, in Xano, here we would put in the regular expression, and you have to put in those slashes too. Those slashes are Xano seems to be very sensitive to that. And then, this is for that's for the expression. So this actually would put that up here, which is the value. See, I get caught up in this too. Now, you'll notice here that I end it with a slash, whereas here it is /G. G means that it is global for iterative searching for finding multiple results. And here, if I were to just take off global, you'll see it only finds the first one. So the global meaning is like it's usually in regular expressions difference between find all and just find one. But that's not how Xano treats it. If I put a G in here, it won't work. And I'll demonstrate that in just a second. And then what I want to search for is going to be whatever our string was that we had from ChatGPT, right? So I'm going to grab that string, copy that, and then put that into here, right? So I have the same John and Sarah thing, and I say update. Okay, so now what I'm trying to do is apply this hello word thing to regex get all matches. See how well it works. So this is the variable being set to that result. The response is going to be the var1. So if I run and debug, this should give me the output of that. See, it found hello John, hello Sarah as one array, and it makes a second array of John and Sarah. So it has both the expansive version of it, the version that includes a hello, and the version that does not. And in this case, you'll probably just want to use the second version of these two. Because when I did ChatGPT, you'll notice it gave me the result of John and Sarah, which is what we're going for. But in regex, you'll see it gave us the hello John, right, and the hello Sarah. This is what we call groups. And there are more things you can do to try and tweak the regular expression to make it not do that, but I'm going to suggest that you don't want to overcomplicate your regular expressions. It can be very tempting once you start learning this stuff to start, getting more esoteric and dialing it in. Get to the point where it does just enough to be getting your text going, and then do the rest of your manipulation using simpler tools. You will thank me because you'll have a better time understanding the vast majority of what's going on here. And whatever's in the regular expression is going to be hard for you to understand once you've walked away from regular expressions for more than, say, 15 minutes. So this is how we would use regex get all matches to look for everything that's in here. And if all you wanted was like the second of these matches, right? You don't want the version that's hello, you just want the version that says John, Sarah. You can just do an add filter, and you can say last, and just get the last entry in that array. Watch this, and then you just get. Oh, because it gave me an array, right? Okay, so the add filter, last, update, save, rerun. Yeah, see, now it gives me just John and Sarah, which is really what I wanted out of all this, right? I just wanted to get the names out of that list based on whoever we'd said hello to. Pretty cool. What if I just want the first name that came out of this? Well, instead of using regex get all matches, I could use reg and just get the first match. And I think, as you can probably expect, I'm just gonna grab this text here, otherwise it was getting blown away. Okay, and if I just change this now to reg first match, and I put that thing in, and I say save, I can run debug. Last. Nope. There we go. Confirm. Save and run. See? Now it says hello, John and John. which means it's getting the pair, right, based on whatever that first match was, right? The more expansive version of the group and then the less expansive. So once again, if I just wanted to get the John version of that, I would just throw in the last filter on that. Boom, update, save, and rerun that. And now I just get John, which is exactly what I was looking for. So that would be the way I could use get first. So you can sort of see how get first and, get and get all. And then, similarly, if I just do regex matches, I do paste of the same string. In that case, I want to remove the last thing because this will return me a Boolean, true or false. Or to illustrate, see true because it matches. If instead I made sure it just did not say hello by corrupting each of the words hello, right, by saying, Hexlo and Hefilo, Sarah, right? Now nobody's being said hello to, save, rerun, and you see now it turns false. So that's the way I can use the matches to the equivalent of a has record. Fantastic. So if I look at some of these others, I can do quote and I can do replace. Leave quote for another time. Let's talk about replace, because replacement's actually kind of a fun one. What if I wanted to replace each of those names? What if I'm trying to anonymize the code, right? Hello, generic person. So if I want to replace each of those with generic person, let's see how that works. Generic person, was nice to meet you. Generic person, how are you? And in fact, probably what I want to do is bring back the hello, because you can see the way it replaced was using the expansive version. So we'll say update and save and rerun. Hello, generic person. It was nice to meet you. Hello, generic person. How are you? Right, so now we no longer have names. We're replacing them with the idea of generic person. This can be, again, super handy to, very quickly anonymize data or, whatever your other needs are. So when you go on to ChatGPT, when you're looking on Stack Overflow or whatever to solve your problem, and you see one of these weird pattern matching things, and the way you'll recognize them is probably through their slashes, right? Because usually things are between slashes. You know that you can bring them to bear in Xano. And you just need to remember that first, you don't bring the G. You do bring the slashes. You're going to run it once through one of these filters to see how the data gets delivered back. Because while the language of regular expressions is somewhat similar, the way they get implemented is not. They do not work the same in JavaScript and PHP and Python. And you should, and Xano is actually a variant on the way PHP does it. And you want to pay attention to how how it's actually going to look. So by running it once, seeing the results, and using tools like first and last, you can make sure that you're going to get the tools you're looking for, and then being able to do things like replace or what have you if you're looking to do more advanced manipulations. And if I were to say, get all matches, what if all I want is just the last name? What if all I want is just again the last of the names that showed up here? Then I can add a filter of last into it, right? And it gives me just the John and Sarah. And if I again want to do I can get just the Sarah by once again refiltering it on last by saying the last list, and within the last list, just give me the last person. Right, and this is a way, all right, I could just find out what was the last person who it said hello to. And so the way you figure out how to do this is through iteration. Set yourself up a nice simple function, test to make sure you like the way it works, because the fact that sort of backwards in this way is a little confusing. But once you have yourself set up, you're able to do your analysis for whatever the slicing is, and then serve that into the rest of your function stack to do all of the cool manipulation you're looking to do. Look, regular expressions are hard. So if you've got questions about them, I'd love to hear more about them. Please put them in the comments. And if you're looking to be doing more complicated things around your data manipulation for your economically important project, please check us out over at StateChange, where we are working every day with office hours to solve the hardest 5% of problems. And I gotta tell you, regular expressions is definitely one of them. I'll see you next time.